What is up, everybody? Cornucopia of craziness back here again, and welcome to Raw is Cornucopia. This week, I kind of had low expectations for this week's Raw, because last week was such garbage and it was so boring that I didn't expect this Raw to be any sort of good whatsoever. I didn't expect it to be great. But this Raw surprised me. Not just because it was in Chicago, but the matches were good, the angles were good, and I'm actually somewhat interested in WrestleMania now. And that's quite an accomplishment considering how everything before this point has been crap. Let's get real here about that. Now, let me start off with specifics. Let's start off with the Chris Jericho AJ Styles angle. Chris Jericho is finally a heel again. And that's cool. I like Chris Jericho as a heel because Chris Jericho as a face has been so-so. His matches are still good, but his promos are crap. So you get Chris Jericho as a heel again, and you have him against AJ Styles at WrestleMania. That's going to be an awesome, awesome match. There's going to be good psychology. There's going to be good in-ring work. It's going to be an awesome match. Trust me. And I like what they've been doing with AJ Styles. AJ Styles has been putting on good matches consistently in WWE since he's come here. And he is awesome. He's becoming easily one of my favorites up to this point. And the match that Y2AJ, as they call themselves, had against New Day was good. It was really, really good. It's one of the best matches that I've ever seen on Raw in a very, very long time. And it was a tag team match with New Day. Your expectations with a tag team match with New Day are not very high, considering what they've been giving these past few weeks. But this week was awesome. It was a good one for New Day. It was a good match with plenty of high-octane moves and good counters and good kickouts. It was an awesome, awesome match. And not to mention, it was for the tag team titles. And you know what? I was kind of bummed out that Y2AJ didn't win, but you know what? It's for the better. It's for the better. It would have been this is a lot better than if they did a tag team match at WrestleMania and then they turned Chris Jericho at the pay-per-view at WrestleMania. Because this sets up a good match for them to have, and it gives them plenty of time to set up story for a WrestleMania match, because now Chris Jericho's heel and they can do a lot more with them. And AJ Styles is already set up as a good wrestler. He is a good wrestler. He can make anybody look good. He made New Day look good. He made a bunch of other people look good since his run started in WWE. And he's going to do good things. I believe that. Now, is he going to win any titles? That remains to be seen. But his run so far has been really, really excellent, and I like it. Chris Jericho has been doing really, really good too. He's been putting on good matches with AJ Styles and a bunch of the other guys. His heel work is excellent, and that's been proven since 2008 with his heel run against Shawn Michaels. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling here. I'm really, really sorry if this takes up way too much time. Let's move on to Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Oops, spoiler alert. Kevin Owens won a match against, or was it Adrian Neville winning it? Whatever. The most important thing about that match was the ending. I did not expect Sami Zayn to come out and attack Kevin Owens. And this is going to be another good WrestleMania match too, because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn already have a feud that was set up in NXT. I don't watch NXT much. I don't watch the weekly shows, but I do watch the pay-per-views, and the pay-per-views are damn good. They're damn good, and the build-up between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is incredible. The matches, there might be little beatdowns, but that's the psychology between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They put on good matches because guess what? They were friends in the independent scene. That's why they're so good. That's why the feud is so believable. Now, there was rumors that they were going to bring the Balor Club on the television, but I'm happy they didn't do it on this week's Raw. Because if the Balor Club had debuted on this week's Raw, then the feud would have lost its focus between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It would have been all about Balor Club. It would have been a tag team match that was a tag team match that would be forgettable. Like, nothing good would have been done. So I'm happy that they're waiting to debut Balor Club until after WrestleMania. That's the best decision at this point. And plus, Kevin Owens, earlier in the show, was talking about how he needs an Intercontinental Championship opponent. Well, you got one now. We got Sami Zayn. And I'm happy that they didn't do the Intercontinental Championship in just some ladder match where you get a bunch of jobbers and then Kevin Owens and Big Show, maybe. I'm happy they didn't do that. I'm happy they didn't book him against some jobber. I'm happy they didn't put him against Ryback. Because Ryback, even though it's been awesome that they've been promoting him as more of a badass, I'm happy they aren't doing it. Because Ryback last night didn't cut a good promo against Kalisto. His promo was extremely stiff. His promo work, Ryback's, is extremely stiff, and it feels fake and scripted. So I'm happy they didn't do it against Ryback. But that's not to say that they're going to do Ryback versus Kalisto at WrestleMania for the United States title. But let's be honest here. The United States title hasn't been valued enough since John Cena lost it to Alberto Del Rio. As soon as Alberto Del Rio won it, the value of the title was lost. Let's be real about that. But I'm happy that they're doing Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. It's going to be a good match. It's going to add, not to mention, it's going to add prestige with the Intercontinental title, which Intercontinental Championship hasn't had prestige in a very long time. And that's going to be a good match. Because they have good chemistry with each other, and the match is just going to work because they have good in-ring presence, they have good moves. It's going to be a good kick-out, high-octane match. Dean Ambrose versus Triple H. The build-up feels a little forced, but you know it's going to be a good match at Roadblock. But we all know it's going to happen. Dean Ambrose is not going to win, and he's going to go back down to the mid-card scene. But there is some good news. There is some good news out of this, believe it or not. The good news is that there's now a bunch of teases now that Bray Wyatt is going to challenge Triple H for the title. Now, that could be a good thing, or that could be a very, 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 very bad thing. Because we know Triple H's history with burying people. I know, it's an internet thing. But we know Triple H has a history of not putting over people at a big pay-per-view. And what I'm thinking is, and this would be a very good thing if WWE did this and they realized their mistake, is if they changed the WrestleMania WWE Championship main event from Triple H versus Roman Reigns to Triple H versus somebody else at WrestleMania. Because, let's face it, Bray Wyatt does not have an angle right now. He's just floundering. He's doing nothing right now. And I think that Triple H versus Bray Wyatt would make a good match, even though Bray Wyatt hasn't done much and he doesn't really deserve the push. But I think he needs a push to legitimize himself. And who knows? If they were to do Bray Wyatt versus Triple H, they can have Bray Wyatt win. And that would be a good championship person to hold it. Because he would cut good promos. He would be a somewhat decent wrestler. He's not the best wrestler in the world, but he can cut a promo. The reason why we haven't liked his promo so much lately, though, is because his promos have led up to nothing. They've led up to him losing matches. They've led up to him doing absolutely nothing in his feuds. Bray Wyatt needs to be booked better. Because last night, what we saw on Raw with him putting his hand on the championship and saying, hey, I got this one next. That's actually a good build-up for him. They need to make something out of it, because I feel like if they do the Triple H and Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, they're just going to forget all about what Bray Wyatt did on this week's Raw. So they need to capitalize on it if they want to create interest. And Brock Lesnar, of course. Brock Lesnar is going to face Bray Wyatt at Roadblock. You know, they're going to have that match. They're going to make up for what they screwed up at Royal Rumble with the whole build-up between him and Bray Wyatt. I think it's going to be a good match. Good beatdown by Brock Lesnar. People say that Brock Lesnar doesn't have talent. I think so. Brock Lesnar creates interest. He makes things interesting because he's such a realistic fighter. He makes interest because he beats people down. He's a true monster heel. And that's a heel or babyface or tweener. I don't care what he is. He still creates interest in his matches. So I like Brock Lesnar. And speaking of MMA and realistic fighting, let's talk about Shane McMahon and Vince McMahon's promo. So, basically it was a reiteration from last week, but Shane McMahon actually cut out a good promo before Vince McMahon came out. And he was talking very realistically about how the WWE needs to change. How they need to change who gets the main event spot, which, by the way, when he said the people without talent get on top, I was immediately thinking of Roman Reigns. Of course I was thinking of Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns has very little talent whatsoever. But the reason why we like Shane McMahon is because his promos speak to us. He speaks to us because this is what we've been saying for a long time now. This is what we've been saying for a long time. We've been saying that people without talent don't get main event roster spots. They don't get title matches at big pay-per-views like WrestleMania. And this is exactly what we've been wanting for a long, long time. So we like Shane McMahon because of that. Vince McMahon throwing the picture on the ground was kind of hokey. Because they've been doing stuff like this for years in the wrestling business. What they do is they break the picture before they go out to the ring. And then when they smash it on the ground, it looks so easy. Because the picture is already broken. But why am I rambling about that? Anyway. But one thing that kind of bothers me about what Shane said, though, is that talented people have gone to the WWE Championship in the past, but they weren't in the main event. How Shane McMahon gets a main event before CM Punk ever did kind of pisses me off a little bit. But not that much, but just a little bit. It was a little thing I noticed. But last thing I'll talk about is Shane McMahon's punches. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about Shane McMahon's punches on the internet, saying they don't look real, they don't look good. But Shane McMahon's punches actually look somewhat decent to me. They look real. When he was punching the security guards, he looked like he was punching the security guards. Not like these fake Dean Ambrose style punches where he's just like punching them and slapping them, where it doesn't even look like it hits them. They look like real punches. Real gut punches, like like that. His punches look more real than most of what other wrestlers have been doing right now. His punches look more realistic. And that's what I like. I think Shane McMahon is going to have a good match. He's going to do the coast to coast. He's going to do nice moves in the Hell in a Cell. It's going to be a good match. So, at this point, looking forward to WrestleMania. This Raw redeemed my interest. It was a good show. And I'm hoping next week is going to be as good. Because we need... Oh, by the way, Roadblock... I don't know whether it's going to be good or bad, but at least it's built up to WrestleMania, and it's a WWE Network special, and I think it's going to be good. And it's in Toronto, too. So we're going to get a lot of good Canadian fan bases. Anyway, that's it for this week's Raw is Cornucopia. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Oh, by the way, like I said before, or if I didn't say before, I'll say it again. The link to last week's Raw review is going to be in the description down below if you want to watch that. And see what my thoughts on that last week's terrible Raw were. If you want to see that, it'll be in the description down below. Peace out.